The big question is always, do we concentrate on lead generation? Or do we put some of our marketing efforts towards branding? This is like a tug of war I am constantly seeing with clients. And of course, it always leans more towards that lead generation. But my guest today, Laurie Hachmeister, is going to help us realize that we need to even it out. You need a little bit of lead generation, but you definitely need the branding. The branding is that solid foundation that will help your organization grow year after year. But before we get started, my name is Donna Peterson, and you are listening to the B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. I go all over the world speaking with marketing leaders, business owners about their specific industries, what is working, what is not, and what can we all do to create those marketing campaigns that resonate with our target audience so that we can make loyal customers. So let's jump in. Hi, Laurie. How are you today?
Hey, Donna. How you doing?
I can't complain, except time flies. I don't know where the days and months go. I really wanted to have you on the show because I think you have some insights that can help the listeners avoid some of those pitfalls and do quality marketing that will resonate with their audience.
I totally agree. And I probably have a little experience in this because I've worked with a lot of leaders that have made those mistakes. I felt sometimes like I was beating my head against the wall and saying, it's not going to work if you don't market. You have to market. Yeah. And they would say, oh, no, we have all these other ideas. And then finally, once the sun came out, the rainbow happened, and they said, yeah, marketing really works. Okay.
And meanwhile, you've been saying it for years and they weren't listening. But I think you're like myself, we're always up against that, where people feel that marketing is still that disposable department that, oh, it's nice to have, but we don't really have to have it.
People define it in so many different ways, and they put different budgets under it. And then they'll say that's sales and marketing. Those are two different things. I'm not saying that they're not like helping each other, that they don't enhance each other, but you have a sales budget, you have a marketing budget. You can't confuse that. And you can't say, we do that. We do design, and we have a couple of things, or we do a trade show here and there. So that's not what we're talking about.
No, especially now when you really have to be working on building a relationship with an individual. It can't be those one-offs, like I go to a trade show here and
absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. That's the biggest mistake people make, is the old build it, they will come concept, in that I have something really great. And I'm like, but how are people going to learn about that? And there's so many elements or variables that can prevent you from standing out from the competition, that you can't expect people to always gravitate towards you, even if you have the very best product, solution, or service. You just can't expect that. And so you have to put some things into place to make sure that people know that.
And it's something I hear from legacy brands all the time, because they'll say to me, Donna, all we're interested in is lead generation. We don't need branding. Everyone knows who we are. And what do you think about that?
That is probably the biggest mistake that I know so many B2B companies have made, so many consumer brands have made, so many consumer companies, that we're number one. We don't have to do anything. And I try to say branding is the one thing that you can really show people who you are, the personal side, the personality, they develop a relationship with you. They have credibility. You show your credibility. They start to trust you. It's like a good old friend that you know you can rely on. And if you don't keep that front and center, all that lead gen is just for naught, because you're going to be creating these leads, and then they're going to say, how good are you? So why should I trust you? And when it comes down to it, it is all about trust. People, when they buy things, it's still emotional, whether it's in business or whether it's for personal use. And I just try to say that branding is how you can really develop a relationship with somebody. And it really shows your credibility. It really builds trust. And you're not going to be able to do anything with those leads if people don't really know who you are. We do readership studies, and one of the things we always ask our readers, because I'm in B2B publishing, and we ask our readers across the board, how likely are you to go to a website for a supplier or an advertiser after you've seen their ad in the magazine, or say, oh, that is the most likely thing, because they've already started building a relationship with that company. I'm going to go check them out. There's statistics and studies that show that trust is really the theme that you have to really rely on. And that's what branding does for you.
It gives a lot of validity, because it is easy to send out an email or send out a sales message. But if you have that validity of those ads in the publication, it shows you're around for a while. This isn't just a fly by night. I just want one order from you. No, I want to build that relationship so that our company grows year after year.
Absolutely. Show that you believe in yourself enough.
Yes.
That you invest in your company, and other people say they believe in themselves, so we should believe in them too. I've often said that we sell advertising online and websites or newsletters or in print. There's a couple of other factors that come into mind. If you don't keep branding, if you don't keep that front and center, things change. The landscape changes. Competitors come in. People's needs change.
Yes.
And what you were maybe perfect for them 5, maybe 10 years ago, we no longer see that. You have to be relevant. You have to change with the times, and you have to keep showing folks that this is what we do and this is why we're good for you. But again, if a competitor comes in and they're front and center and their voice is louder than yours, and they're seeming more relevant, and that they're more able to service your customers' needs, you will slowly die on the vine.
I've seen companies who are the leader in their space. They rest on their laurels. We're a 75-year-old company. We don't need to. Everyone knows who we are. Other companies started to come in the market. They started to offer more educational pieces of information, doing blogs, doing webinars, even having events. And slowly you started to see the leader lose their market share because this company's out there and people are like, wow, they really care about the industry. They're investing in their knowledge and they're willing to give it to us for free.
Yep.
People started to trust them more because they felt like they really believed in the space.
You just hit on a really good point there, and that is about investing, giving them things that they could use for the industry. That is crucial, and we try to tell our advertisers and our marketers who we work with, don't just sell to somebody, educate them. Our publishers believe, we call it insight selling. Anything, you're their partner in business.
I love that. Yes.
They may not be they may not be buying from you today, but you care about their business. Offer them some educational points. They'll come back, wow, they have really some good information. I'm going to go back to them if I need something. That's how relationships develop, and just educating and always being there, being the expert is really crucial. I'm in B2B publishing. Our editorial teams are all about bringing information, bringing news, bringing insight. That's what we rely on too for our marketing. Don't try to sell first. Educate first and build relationships. The sales marketing paradigm is many company budgets. Like you said, the first thing to be cut is marketing, but sales can't do their job unless they have good marketing engines behind them.
You see it all the time where companies that just promote themselves, what if you turn it and you just give out value, and they'll be like, but what about the sale? They will come.
We always say we're in this industry together. We're in that industry. We care about the industry. We care about our readers succeeding. We care about our advertisers succeeding. So we do everything we can to try to make sure that we bring them the tools, the content, the educational things that will help them succeed.
Aren't we all looking for that? We're all looking for anything that'll help us save time, right?
Right.
And help us be successful. But I also to inspire and nurture others.
Absolutely. Time is so precious. And actually, people talk about money. Time is money. And anything that you can do to be more efficient, do it. Don't do more of something, just do it more efficiently. Don't do it faster, just do it better. That's something we always talked about. Just trying to find ways to streamline, to be more efficient.
But getting back to that sales and marketing, because I was recently speaking to a lot of manufacturers and they're telling me that their marketing team sometimes is one or none. They don't really put much emphasis on the marketing team. And I have a problem with that because marketing could grow your business for decades. And so how do you go into companies to tell them you need to invest in your marketing? It shouldn't be, you got to do some marketing. Can you ask someone who's a salesperson to quickly do the marketing? You need to build a strategy.
You're right. It takes time to cultivate. Marketing isn't one and done. It's over time. It has a build. It's very difficult because there's somebody who's looking at the bottom line and they're saying, we just don't have the dollars for marketing and we want to be able to pay for sales budgets and for them to go out and meet clients. I said, you can't do one without the other.
If they took the time and built up that marketing strategy, I think they would see that the sales would more than cover what they spent on the marketing if they created a strategy versus, oh, let's go to this trade show. Oh, you know what? Let's do social posts for 1 week and that'll be it for the year.
You are so right. And that's really hard to show people that. What we try to say is that sales, we actually make their job more efficient by paving the way for them. It's not either or. It's think about the efficiency point and the conversion of sales when, the people that they're taking your product or service to already knows about you. And it's just so much more streamlined. Again, they already have an idea. They're like, oh, here's a salesperson. He's not going to sell me. Number one, I've already heard through their marketing channels that they have something of interest to me, something relevant for my business, something that can help me. I will take the salesperson's call. The salesperson doesn't come in and sell me, but the marketing they work hand in hand and you can't have one without the other. But it is really hard in companies that are small and the resources are small. So I think they have to take a step back and look at what is available to them to reallocate their budgets.
Even with the smaller companies, I think they could figure out a strategy that would be more building versus just one-off. Because if you have a marketing strategy that really gives information, I tell people it will save your sales team 5 steps. If you're using a quality list or a source like a B2B industry specific publisher like yourself versus a compiled list or just a data platform, you go to a company like yourself who have really already dug into knowing these people are engaged in that specific industry, what they're interested in, and you do the marketing to those people. By the time that lead goes to sales, they're ready to get into the meat of it.
It is really knowing the psychology of your market. It's really knowing your buyers. It's knowing what makes them tick. That is extremely important. And you do have to build over time. So I think you're right. The hardest thing is that people think you need to do a big splurgy thing one time and that's going to do everything. It can't be one and done. It always has to have a plan of something to happen afterwards. Okay, we met you. Nice meeting you. And by the way, here's more information.
You've already spent all that money on the trade show. Give it legs. I say this to my clients all the time. Give it legs so that you can continue to nurture these individuals, because nowadays, no one is going to buy from just getting one email. No one is going to buy when they see one social media post, especially in the B2B, when you're in an industry specific area. There's several people who have to be in that buying decision, but people are also sitting back. They want to make sure they trust the source, because we all know there's tons of scams out there. Like, how do they know that you're an actual company, that you're actually going to deliver what you say? And you've got to build that trust by, like you said, those repeated marketing messages out in the marketplace, giving valuable content.
You're absolutely right. Because of the fact we built that relationship with our readers and our customers, emails that we send out, they recognize us because they trust us. We built the credibility. They trust that we're not a scam company, that anything coming from us is something they can believe in and rely on. It's information that they can use. And that's extremely important, is keep nurturing those relationships with their customers. Nurturing those relationships is so important. And one of the things I was just thinking about preparing for this is market changes and perceptions change and time changes. And all of a sudden, what was your greatest attribute a year ago is maybe different because some of the dynamics of the market has changed. I just imagine what people experienced over COVID. The world was turned topsy-turvy, and many industries are still trying to get back and get up to speed again. But you just have to always stay ahead of, keep an eye on the competition and understand what your customers who are buying, what their psychology is, who they are, what they want, how they buy, what their needs are, what their frequency of buying. Nobody has a silver bullet. We don't have the silver bullet. Every day I bring new ideas to our publishers and sales team and say, what about this? The worst thing people do is not keep something consistent and not keep it building over time, and to just do it in a short frame and expect sales to happen within that time. When you're doing email marketing, people are so many emails and so busy, you have to remind them again. Maybe they don't see it the first time.
When you really know and understand your audience, that's where you'll be able to send out those marketing messages that they'll open. And when you work with a company like yours, who knows really the intricacies of the audience and are willing to share them, the advertisers will succeed faster. Plus, they get to ride on your coattails of trust you've already formed with that individual.
Our biggest advertisers who run in our magazines, run on our websites, are just those. They're like, hey, we're just going to follow you. It's the fish following the big whale. Like, we're just flying along, swimming with you because you've already done a lot of work for us. We've laid the groundwork. We've built the trust. Anybody affiliated with us, they're like, they should be trustworthy too, because we wouldn't do business with them unless they're reputable. So there is something to be said for association, and that the association of credibility.
It saves people so much time. It's just, if you have a good branding, when you're doing lead generation, it's not like you're starting over every single time.
Absolutely.
And so with the branding and then industry specific publishers, think about it already. You've taken your marketing from here to already at least 3 steps. And now you help them find the specific target audience.
And one of the things, and don't get me started about lead gen, that people, everything like high numbers. So it's all quantity and not quality. And we have that discussion so many times, and we have that discussion with many advertisers, especially when it comes to web marketing. And they're like, that doesn't really give a lot of impressions. And this really didn't do well. I go, okay, instead of 300 leads, you may have 30. Do you see who they are? They're like the creme de la creme. You would pay, so for average leads, you might spend $5. And for these leads, you would spend $1,000 a person because they are so valuable. And that's just really, people are so used to volume, and high numbers is being the most important thing. And it's really, when you're in B2B, you have to realize it's quality, and it's being able, one good call, 2 good calls can pay for every single expenditure of marketing. So that's what we really have to re-educate people, because it's just common. People think a high number volume is more important, but it isn't.
I've been able to show that to clients where they'll come into me and say, oh, but Donna, our Google Ads does this. Your email marketing isn't doing as well. And I'm like, okay, who are these people who clicked on your Google ad? And they have no idea. And then I said, okay, so let's go to the email marketing. Here, I can show you some of the companies that came in, and they'll see the quality of these people. Plus, they get the confidence that they're hitting exactly the companies that they want. And I said, I think there's your answer. Companies who would be interested in what you have to offer. If they're not interested in what you have, then why are we all wasting the time? Why are you passing these leads over to salespeople that now have to waste their time calling them, and they'll never buy from you?
I think we're coming to a time when it's really important everybody spends their time working on things that really give you something of value. You get a good lead, you get a good person, that you're going to get a sale. I thought of a scenario in my previous company. We had a food service magazine. And one of the things a lot of people were going around talking about is advertising effectiveness. That was the big buzzword. And that was the late 80s, early 90s. But we had a client who was willing to, and I'm not going to say who it is, but the very large consumer/food service brand who was willing to do a test of advertising their ads across the country with our readers to find out how their sales did versus the readers that were getting their advertisements. And we found after 6 months of doing this, attributed the sales to them seeing the ads in the magazine. And it was like the most incredible study that I remember.
Get a pulse of the marketing industry, really understand your specific industry to what is working, what is people resonating with, and what would your target audience really like to receive.
We talked about education and content. That's really important. And we rely a lot on our editorial leaders. We listen, our marketing and editorial teams work very closely together just to make sure that what we're providing is of educational value. It is insight selling that editors share with the sales teams so the sales teams can educate on the industry because people don't know where to turn.
Sometimes you don't know, and that's why you need the guidance from organizations that are doing the research that is too expensive and too time consuming for one individual manufacturer, where if you line up with someone who's already done it for you, then you'll be in the right spot.
I really admire what you're doing because you're really getting the word out there, the evangelists of marketing. Seriously, if more people understood, they would realize this is a very smart way to spend their budgets to make money. You're not going to make money not spending money.
That's the whole reason why I wanted to start this, is because you had so many unethical marketing sources out there and different people saying everyone has to be doing this. And I'm a big one to say, no, you know what? Sit back, really understand your specific audience and figure out where you as a brand need to be. You don't need to be where everyone else is.
Sometimes it's just really go back to the basics and what we told you before. We know our audience and we authenticate them and we know what they like. We ask them what they like. The beauty is being able to see what people are doing just by nature of their actions. Their behavior tells you what they like, what they read, how often they read it. You know,
this leads me to my last question for you today. AI tools. What should B2B publishers or even industrial brands really be focusing on when everyone is talking about these AI tools?
I think AI is going to be phenomenally helpful for the future in marketing. I keep seeing the fear. What keeps coming to mind is that people think it's a societal impact, that AI is going to replace people. Jobs are going to be lost. We're going to lose the quality, when, in my instance, in my market, quality of writing. Then you have the copyright infringement. If you think about all the things AI can do for you, efficiency tools, time saving, you can take some information and put it in a way that it can let you do other things. I think they just need to first educate themselves to learn all of its capabilities and then see where it fits in your company.
I go to several conferences now and speak about AI tools and marketing and how they can incorporate both. And one of the things I'm saying to companies is you've got to start researching it now. Start looking around. I'm not saying join up and subscribe to everything that's out there, but start to educate yourself on what type of things are available, but then go back and talk to your team about what do you want these AI tools to help you out with. So if you have your firm objectives, then you'll only match tools to your specific objectives, getting away from you got to do what everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
Get the tools you need. I will tell you one that I love with ChatGPT. I tell this one a lot is when I go to trade shows, you get the attendee book or the exhibitor book about all the different exhibits. And I've asked ChatGPT to put it into an Excel spreadsheet. I can have my Excel spreadsheet already set up with the booths I want to stop by, who I want to talk to, everything. And then what I do is I add on to the sheet after I visit the person, because I always like to, did we talk about something specific? like your dog or
Yeah,
colleges or our kids doing this or vacation I'm
Yeah.
going on, because it helps the next time you reach out to create that relationship
Yeah,
versus calling up saying, hey, what can you do for me today?
business is personal, and people, and I'm sorry, people still buy on personal reasons. It's
Yes.
visceral. You paint a story
Yes.
about somebody and you give them your story. When you market, you're telling your story to somebody, and then they'll say, oh, thank you for sharing. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of dialogue that you're having when you're marketing to somebody and you understand who you're marketing to.
Plus, if you tell your story is unique to you,
Mhm.
and this is where I'll say to people, you really don't have competition because there's not another company that has the exact same story.
Excellent point.
So we're a
Excellent.
a B2B marketing agency, but it was founded 43 years ago by my mother. We're woman owned and we work in the industrial space, and the story goes on, but you see how you took like this whole big group down to this group, and this is our unique story.
Yeah,
You got to be
exactly.
you, and not everyone's going to want to work with you, but the ones who do,
Yeah.
they get it and they'll stay with you forever. Laurie, I think we should end on that note because
Okay.
that is it in a nutshell. We all need to be authentic, trustworthy, and building those relationships. So thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you. I really had so much fun. You were just a wealth of knowledge, and really, it's been very enjoyable talking with you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Donna. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the World Innovators B2B Marketing Excellence Podcast. If you'd like to be updated when new episodes come out, don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out our social media accounts to stay up to date on B2B marketing trends.